something, what can I say? How can I characterize this? As outrageous. During the past regime, we didn't have this kind of chaos in terms of security, in terms of lack of needs of population, in terms of food, in terms of medicine, in terms of electricity, in terms of services.
I don't want to label
so
this.
It's different.
But I don't think you've answered his question yet.
Sorry?
I don't think you've answered his question yet.
Why?
Do you think he's answered your question?
I'm satisfied with the explanation, but still, do you think it's a good idea to bring back Saddam Hussein or not?
Well, it is not the question now.
But it's a question that he's asking.
It is not the question now. This is no. No, this is not the question.
Okay, well, we'll record the fact that you don't want to answer the question.
If the Iraqi people would like to have Saddam Hussein again, it's wish. Why? If we are democratic, we have to accept that. But it is not the question.
I think the people don't want Saddam Hussein, didn't want him, and they don't want the chaos they've got now. They want a decent future where they can control their own affairs. So both are totally miserable for them.
Okay, gentlemen in the third row there.
We have lived for a long time in the Arab world with certain regimes that have brought a lot of the Arab countries backward. They had so many resources, so many talented people, and they brought them backward. And we keep on preaching on the conspiracy theory that the West is here only for the oil, and they are going to control this for the oil. I think whatever democratic reforms you are talking about or a process had to be initiated either peacefully or violently. Europe have gone through a lot of civil wars until they come to the level where they are right now. The United States, the same thing. Now, we are seeing some violent movements in the Arab world, and we're talking just next door neighbor in Saudi. Why is that? You know, we need to understand that, and not only to say that is this going to help Iraq? Definitely it's going to help Iraq. I believe that a lot of people will stand in line, a lot of people will go and cast their vote, feel that they are part of the system, part of the process. We talked about Israel. Israel would not do whatever it can do if we had a credible democratic states around Israel. Then even the United States and Britain would say, okay, we have to respect what the people are saying. But I don't want to take more of your time.
Bari, Atwan, you want to come back on that?
Yes, we love democracy. We like democracy to be actually prevailing in all Arab worlds, all Arab countries. And you refer to Saudi Arabia. Yes, if there is a democracy in Saudi Arabia, we wouldn't have actually the Al-Qaeda, we wouldn't have the radical groups taking place or conducting this kind of violence. We wouldn't have this spread to Kuwait, which has a relative democracy. Who is responsible for that? Okay, we, as a people, actually, we did not push enough for democracy simply because we did not have any help from the outside. When Saudi Arabia and other Arab countries were under the wings of the United States, for example, the friends, the ally of the United States, the American administrations were short-sighted. They did not say to them, look, you know, the danger is coming if you don't actually introduce reforms. Even when the United States start to talk about reforms, they shut up now. Why they shut up? Simply because their project in Iraq failed. When their project in Iraq failed, and when their allies in Egypt and other places say, look, you know, it will put us in trouble, they stop talking about democracy, they stop talking about human rights or about reforms. This is the problem. Yes, we want democracy, but we want our democracy, not the American democracy. We want the real democracy, the organic democracy. We don't want this false democracy which they are trying to impose on us in order to serve the American interest in the region. That's the problem.
All right, you want to come back on that. Can we let him come back on?
Well, I think initiating democracy, if we want to use that word, initiating it, either it will come from us, everybody will carry a rifle and start shooting until we come to an agreement, like what happened in a lot of countries, or we have been forced from the outside. But once the process starts, believe me, we will not listen to anybody else, because at the end of the day, I will have to go to the polls and elect who will represent me for my benefit, and then things will change. So please, don't be a part of that process. Be a part of a change.
Do you think the elections in Iraq will end the insurgency?
No, it will not end the insurgency, but that's a beginning, that's a process. Well, shall we sit and say, okay, let them initiate
but
it?
I'm not against elections. I agree with you, elections should be used, but let's not call that democracy.
No. You see, the democracy is very relative in terms. We have democracy in the Arab world, we have democracy in the Gulf. Everybody can ask for an appointment with the Emir and go and meet him. That's democracy if you want to look at it from that point. When we see in Afghanistan a 65-year-old guy waiting for 3 hours to cast his vote, that's a process. This is 1% change. this is positive change. This is what I want. I don't want to sit and say, no, time will come for me. When is time? Time
okay,
has gone for a long time.
I want to move on because I want to take some more questions, particularly from our student population over there. Gentleman over there.
Well, I'd like to ask two questions. First to Mr. Mohammed Douri. Do you suggest that USA should leave Iraq right now? And second question to Mr. Abdel Bari Atwan. If you are against the current government and against the election, then with what you are?
Okay, do you want to take that second one first?
Actually, I am both of them because both of them are wrong. Election, this is not a good start. This is not election. What I want actually to see in Iraq. Okay, just 1 minute. I'm coming. Yeah. What I want to say actually, I want to say the American administration to say we failed in Iraq, we are pulling out of Iraq, we don't want to have permanent bases in Iraq, and we want to let the Iraqi people have reconciliation and sort out their problems by themselves. If they do so, that's what I want actually, we will have a stable Iraq. But as long as they are favoring those people and they want to design a special democracy in Iraq in order to keep Iraq as a satellite state for the United States, as a springboard to threaten the Middle Eastern people and impose its will on the people in the region, in this case, no, I don't want it. To say that we are leaving, we are not going to have permanent bases, and this is our agenda of withdrawal, I will support this.
Okay, and the question to Mohammed Al-Douri.
Well, of course, this is of course, I favor in favor of that the American withdraw from Iraq. But this is not me. This is the Iraqi people. The Iraqi people now put all their potential to get rid from Americans.
How's that going to help democracy in the short term?
Sorry?
How's it going to help democracy in the short term?
Look, the Americans will not export democracy to Iraq. This is a reality.
By their departure, how is it going to help democracy?
Look, the Americans came to Iraq to destroy Iraq. They did that, and they have now to leave.
No, but I'm asking you how their departure will help democracy.
Look, please. After that, there's the United Nations, there's Arab League, there's, I don't know, a lot of organizations.
So they'll produce democracy,
so they can help Iraq, help Iraq to build its future in terms of democracy, in terms of economy, in terms of... So the Americans have no other choice than to leave Iraq as soon as possible. Otherwise, the national resistance is there, and they are treating this problem with them.
Patrick Theros, this is your team member. Do you agree with that?
Generally, I agree. I'd phrase it somewhat differently. Okay. But the problem with the argument against the motion is it's sterile. It is a rehashing of all the mistakes the United States has made, rightly or wrongly, over the last 50 years. The issue before us right now is that there will be elections in a few weeks. One way or another, they're going to produce something that is going to be less than democratic, but is going to produce something. What that thing is going to be, I don't know. But what it may very well produce is a government sufficiently credible to ask the United States to leave. I believe that the United States government today, not the United States government of 18 months ago, but the United States government today very much wants to have a sufficiently credible regime in Iraq that will permit us to depart.
A pro-American, pro-Israeli regime?
Doesn't matter at this point.
But they can't have a democratic pro-American president.
No, I said it doesn't matter at this point. We have become part of the problem.
Well, we agree on that.
Yeah. Therefore...
Gentleman at the back.
I am Iraqi, and I lived in Iraq during the war and after the war. The question is that the United States couldn't control the situation in Iraq for 2 years, and now the Iraqi people are afraid of going to the centers of elections to elect to vote for or against what they want or they don't. The question is that will the American army have this magic ability to control the situation and provide the good environment for the Iraqi people to go and vote?
Who would you like to address that question to? Patrick Theros?
Mr. Abdel Bari Atwan.
Okay. I think we know the answer.
I'm glad you addressed this question to me. You know, it's my favorite question. Yes, you know, there are 5,000 polling stations in Iraq, according to the High Committee of Election. Do you believe the American, 150,000 American are going to protect